Chapter 1276. Perseverance of the Mini-Man. So impressive, this goo formation can actually control reverse flow river. Flood Extremity looked at the pillar of light and praised sincerely. But Black Extremity shook his head. This is not control. I merely created the fate-reversing sacrificial refinement formation. It is like digging a river channel and letting reverse flow river move in it. We dug the river channel. Thus, we can influence the direction that reverse flow river goes. When we retrieve reverse flow river, longevity heaven will gain another secluded domain of heaven and earth. Flood Extremity anticipated. Black Extremity instructed again. When we collect reverse flow river, the subformation will be destroyed. You have to take note of the time and direction, opening your immortal aperture and letting the river flow in. You are a water path goo immortal. You have a big advantage in doing this. Flood Extremity was troubled. What if reverse flow river changes direction? Are there really no goo worms in this world that can control reverse flow river? Black Extremity frowned slightly. Well, no, there isn't, but maybe not necessarily. There might be another possibility. What do you mean? You know the contents of The Legends of Renzu. It stated that Renzu sighed. As long as he had that immortal goo, he would conquer reverse flow river. You mean immortal goo, perseverance? No way. Perseverance immortal goo has never appeared before. In my opinion, that story is only telling us to persevere in cultivating and to never give up easily. The Legends of Renzu, Chapter 4, Section 26. Renzu's daughter, Boundless Forest Samsara, was trapped inside ordinary abyss. She made friends with a mini-man. The mini-man brought Boundless Forest Samsara to see his home, Citywell. After Boundless Forest Samsara saw Citywell, she raised her head at the sky. I understand now. Boundless Forest Samsara looked above her. She was trapped inside ordinary abyss. She was just like the mini-men who were trapped under the well. The mini-men raised their heads and saw the sky within the well. It was like the sky that Boundless Forest Samsara saw when she looked up at ordinary abyss. I have decided I will work hard and get out of this abyss to meet with Father again. Boundless Forest Samsara raised her fists, making up her mind. The mini-man was overjoyed. Sure. I want to leave ordinary abyss and see the world outside as well. I see that there are many trees here in ordinary abyss. We can chop them down and make a ladder to climb up. Boundless Forest Samsara gasped, looking at the mini-man. Oh, mini-man, don't you have wings? Why can't you fly out? The mini-man smiled bitterly. Oh, human, I might have a pair of wings, but they are flimsy and weak. They can only carry me for a short distance. When I left Citywell, I also used a ladder. So that's it. Boundless Forest Samsara realized in the following days. She stayed with the mini-man, chopping trees and creating a ladder. Trees were chopped down one by one. Wisdom goo flew out from them. Boundless Forest Samsara was shocked. Wisdom goo, why are you here? Wisdom is hidden in the ordinary. Of course I can be here. Wisdom goo answered. Next, Wisdom goo said, you are all very smart. You know how to use the achievements of predecessors to escape from being ordinary. But if you too want to leave ordinary abyss, you need to build your own ladders and complete them alone. Otherwise, you cannot leave. Boundless Forest Samsara quickly nodded. Oh, Wisdom goo, thanks for reminding us. We will take note. She and the mini-man made their own ladders. The ladders became taller and taller. Soon, Boundless Forest Samsara's ladder surpassed the mini-man. The mini-man's ladder was short and small. The distance between each step was also small in comparison. Boundless Forest Samsara's ladder was long and tall. Boundless Forest Samsara teased the mini-man. Mini-man, oh mini-man, the ladder I make in half a day is as tall as the one you make in half a month. At this rate, when can you make a proper ladder to step on and escape from ordinary abyss? The mini-man was helpless. I can't help it. I am already doing my best. But this is all the wood I can carry after spending half a day, while you only need one hand to carry this over. I need to use a long time to chop down a small tree, but you only take 3 swings. I am already doing my best to reach this extent. Boundless Forest Samsara nodded. It is a pity we can only make our own ladders. The mini-man replied. That's right. To leave ordinary abyss, we can use our predecessors' achievements, but we truly need to rely on ourselves. Let's continue working hard. Boundless Forest Samsara and the Mini-Man continued to chop down trees to make their ladders. Trees fell one by one. From within, Strength Goo flew out. Boundless Forest Samsara was shocked. "Oh, Strength Goo, why are you here?" "Strength is hidden in the ordinary. Of course I can be here." Strength Goo answered. Boundless Forest Samsara thought about it and asked, "Oh, Strength Goo, can you give us any advice?" "Like Wisdom Goo." Strength Goo said, "I have no advice to give you, but I can grant you great strength, as long as you give me your youth." Boundless Forest Samsara fell into hesitation. Strength Goo said, "According to your current strength, when will you be able to build a ladder tall enough to escape ordinary abyss?" Boundless Forest Samsara thought, "Very long. I will need 20 to 30 years. Strength Goo said, "Yes, by then, you will no longer be young. You will lose your youth and become middle-aged. Rather than that, you might as well give me your youth. Even though you will become middle-aged, you only need a few years to build the ladder." Boundless Forest Samsara thought about it and nodded. "You are absolutely right, Strength Goo. I will rely on you." Thus, Boundless Forest Samsara obtained Strength Goo. Her speed in building the ladder became very fast. She could chop more trees at once. A year later, her ladder was extremely tall. She stood at the top of the ladder and looked down. She saw that the trees were very small. The grass was a field of green. She was very happy. "So when I stand at a high point, things that are big usually will become small. It is just like City Well." She looked down at the Mini-Man's ladder. It was very short, less than 1% of hers. She pouted. Boundless Forest Samsara walked down and said to the Mini-Man, "Why are you still so slow? My ladder is already so tall." The Mini-Man looked at her ladder in admiration, saying helplessly, "I really admire you. Your strength surpassed me to begin with, but now you also have Strength Goo. It is too bad that I have no help. I can only rely on myself. I have already tried my best every day, other than eating and resting. I spend all my time building this ladder, but it cannot match yours." Boundless Forest Samsara nodded. "That is natural." Another year passed. Boundless Forest Samsara continued to build the ladder even taller. She stood at the peak and looked down. The trees were like grass, while everything smaller than trees could not be seen clearly. She looked at the Mini-Man's ladder. Even though it was taller than most trees, it was less than 1,000th of hers. Boundless Forest Samsara walked down the ladder, laughing at the Mini-Man. "Mini-Man, oh Mini-Man, stop wasting your efforts. Your strength is too low. You will not be able to build that ladder even if you spend an entire lifetime. You might as well use this time to enjoy your life. Actually, you are already very amazing. Compared to those Mini-Men, you actually walked out of City Well. You should just enjoy your life now." The Mini-Man thought about it and shook his head. "I am not satisfied with being ordinary. When I am not happy with being ordinary would be like an abyss to me. I want to go out. Even if I cannot succeed, I want to try. If I do not try hard enough, I will not be happy." Thus, the Mini-Man continued building his ladder. The third year passed. Boundless Forest Samsara's ladder was extremely tall. She stood at the peak and looked down, only to see that clouds were blocking her vision. She wanted to look at the Mini-Man's ladder, but she could barely see it. It was less than 1/10,000th of her ladder. Boundless Forest Samsara sighed. She felt lonely. When the wind blew, she shuddered, feeling cold. "So when I stand at this tall point, not only will I feel lonely, I will also feel cold." Boundless Forest Samsara walked down the ladder and told the Mini-Man about this. The Mini-Man shook his head. "My ladder is not tall enough. I don't know how you feel." Boundless Forest Samsara felt bored. She continued to build the ladder, but the time she spent on it was decreasing. Strength Goo asked her, "Oh human, why are you not building your ladder?" Boundless Forest Samsara answered, "The ladder is too tall and cold. I need to rest and regain warmth." Another year passed. Boundless Forest Samsara felt extremely bored. She was still building her ladder, but she was spending less and less time on it. Strength Goo asked her, "Oh human, why are you not building your ladder?" Boundless Forest Samsara answered, "The ladder is too tall. When I look down, I get afraid. I need to rest and let my heart calm down." Another year passed. Boundless Forest Samsara became even more lazy. Strength Goo asked her, "Look at the Mini-Man. He has never stopped building his ladder. He is giving it his all. If you continue being lazy, He will surpass you one day. Boundless Forest Samsara laughed. How can that be possible? One day of work for me is a month of his. How can he ever surpass me? Like this, years passed without stopping. Finally, one day, the mini-man found Boundless Forest Samsara, who was resting under a tree, saying to her, "Oh friend, my ladder is at the edge of ordinary abyss. Tomorrow, I will step out and leave ordinary abyss." Boundless Forest Samsara laughed. "Oh mini-man, don't lie to me. This is too funny." The mini-man shook his head, saying seriously, "Grandness and being laughable is merely an inch apart. But I am not laughable anymore. I am grand and can finally leave this ordinary abyss. If you do not believe me, watch as I leave." Thus, the mini-man started to climb his ladder. Boundless Forest Samsara was shocked at this. The mini-man was really at the edge of the abyss. He could leave if he continued like this. Boundless Forest Samsara shouted, "Oh mini-man, do you not feel cold?" The mini-man said, "Of course, but I want to build my ladder and climb out of here." Boundless Forest Samsara shouted again, "Oh mini-man, do you not feel lonely?" The mini-man said, "Of course, but I want to build my ladder and climb out of here." Boundless Forest Samsara shouted again, "Oh mini-man, do you not feel afraid?" The mini-man said, "Of course, but I want to build my ladder and climb out of here." After saying those 3 lines, a bright light flashed on his body, rapidly forming into a goo worm. "My name is Perseverance. Oh mini-man, thank you for giving me life." Perseverance Goo thanked the mini-man. The mini-man laughed. "Great. Even though I do not have strength, I have perseverance." The mini-man said as he climbed out of ordinary abyss. Stepping into the outside world, he first saw someone. It was Rinzu. The rate of time inside ordinary abyss was different from the outside world. Rinzu sighed as he saw the mini-man. "This is perseverance Goo? What a pity. If I had it, I would have been able to conquer Reverse Flow River." Chapter 1277, Meeting of Ma and Zhao. Flood Extremity believed that Perseverance Goo was only a goo worm found in the legends of Rinzu, but Black Extremity shook his head, saying, "Perseverance Immortal Goo is not a fictitious goo worm. In fact, it has existed before." Flood Extremity was shocked. "How did I not know that?" This was something I had learned while traveling Northern Plains. The person who refined Perseverance Immortal Goo was the famous Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. He was the one who entered the door of life and death and brought Reverse Flow River out into the world. He was the first owner of Reverse Flow River. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. Is that so? Then why is Reverse Flow River in the hands of old ancestor Xuehu? Flood Extremity asked. Black Extremity shook his head. "I am unsure about the details regarding this. What is going on?" At this moment, there was a loud sound. Inside the Fate Reversing Refinement subformation, some mortal goo had exploded. The pillar of light that the subformation emitted also shrunk by 10%. This sudden change disrupted their conversation. Flood Extremity became nervous. "A portion of the goo formation was destroyed. Aren't you repairing it?" Black Extremity shook his head. "This situation is within my expectations. Even the Fate Reversing Refinement subformation cannot endure the might of Reverse Flow River. It will be destroyed. And this formation has a weakness. Once it activates, it cannot be repaired, unless the entire formation stops functioning." Flood Extremity frowned deeply. "Reverse Flow River has not reached here yet. What do we do now?" Black Extremity smiled. "Don't worry, I created this formation. How could I not see this coming? In fact, there are benefits in destroying the goo formation." Flood Extremity was confused. The goo formation being destroyed has benefits? Every 10% of destruction would reduce our influence on Reverse Flow River by 10%. The back part of Reverse Flow River will return to normal and stop being drawn to us. That way, it will display its original might and wash out everyone and everything behind. Black Extremity explained. "Incredible." Flood Extremity clapped and praised. His eyes were shining. "Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun are all at the front. That means they will be the last to be washed away." Black Extremity nodded. "Precisely." Inside Reverse Flow River, lord by Chun Tian. 3 Central Continent Goo Immortals greeted by Chun Tian. Chun Tian nodded. At this moment, there were 5 people gathered around him. With the addition of these 3 and himself, there were 9 people. "Did you see Ma Hongyun?" or Zhao Yinyan? The Gu immortals shook their heads. Then did you see this person? Bai Chun Tian described Fang Yuan's appearance and clothing to them. The Central Continent Gu immortals looked at each other. One of them said, I think I saw him, but I did not stop him. I was hiding behind a floating plank. He swam ahead without noticing me. Bai Chun Tian nodded. Lord, this person is not in our information. Is he an ally or foe? Someone asked. The Central Continent Gu immortals were very perplexed. Because Bai Chun Tian was a grand rank 8 Gu immortal, he would not ask for information about a rank 7 Gu immortal for no reason. Speaking of which, Fang Yuan's cultivation level was not outstanding. Most of the Central Continent Gu immortals were rank 7. But Bai Chun Tian's following words made all of their hearts shake. He is a strong foe. If you meet him, be very careful. I am merely on par with him in terms of physical brawling. The Central Continent Gu immortals nodded solemnly. What do we do now? Someone asked. We have many people with us. We will swim up and get rid of our enemies along Reverse Flow River. That would be the best outcome. Bai Chun Tian said this as killing intent surged in him. This was a good tactic indeed. The Central Continent Gu immortals were not the match of old ancestor Shui Hu and Purple Mountain True Monarch if they fought normally. Right now, they had lost Edge Link Camp. They were completely outclassed. The sudden change with Reverse Flow River gave them a good chance to beat. Bai Chun Tian felt that. As long as they could make use of this opportunity, they might be able to get rid of their enemies in Reverse Flow River and obtain victory. What is going on? At this moment, a certain water path Gu immortal among the Central Continent Gu immortals felt a change in the river water. Next, these Central Continent Gu immortals saw that the water of Reverse Flow River around them started to calm down rapidly from a turbulent state. Finally, the river flow slowed gradually, before starting to have small ripples. Large amounts of rocks and wild beast corpses, which were flowing along the river currents, were washed away rapidly. It was 5 times faster than the speed of flow earlier. How can this be? Some Central Continent Gu immortals were caught off guard and were washed away by the river. In the blink of an eye, they were 300 steps of distance away from Bai Chun Tian. Bai Chun Tian was the first to react. Quick, swim. Do not stop for even a moment. Reverse Flow River has returned to its usual state. If we stop for a moment, we will be washed away by the currents. He called out, getting Bai Chun Tian's reminder. The remaining Central Continent Gu immortals reacted and tried to swim earnestly. It is so difficult. The water is flowing slowly and smoothly, but it is actually many times harder than the raging tides earlier. These floating logs and corpses are annoying. They are blocking our paths. The Central Continent Gu immortals quickly found that it was far more difficult to swim in this river that had returned to normal. What is this? The higher we swim up Reverse Flow River, the harder every step is. We need to persevere. We do not need to reach the upper part of the river. As long as we meet enemies, we can kill them. If we kill one rank 8 Gu immortal, we will be able to obtain victory later. Bai Chun Tian raised the morale. The Central Continent Gu immortals cheered in response. This way, Reverse Flow River is our opportunity. Lord Bai Chun Tian, look ahead. To the front, the river is extremely turbulent. Bai Chun Tian heard this and found something weird that he frowned. This was a nightmare. Swimming in this calm part of Reverse Flow River was much harder than swimming in the strong currents. At this rate, as time passes, when the Central Continent Gu immortals met the enemies that were washed down by Reverse Flow River, they would already be exhausted and out of stamina. Quick, we need to get in front and swim in the turbulent water. Bai Chun Tian had a grave expression. He gave the most accurate instructions. The Central Continent Gu immortals increased their speed in response. Fang Yuan swam in the river. He continued to pursue Wu Xie, but he could not find any trace. The river water was turbulent. Huge waves were created from time to time. From within these waves, wild beast corpses and countless rocks would flow along them. The situation in the river was very complex. And most importantly, the river was very wide. Fang Yuan could not get on high ground for observation. Even though he had good eyesight, he could not see much. However, he had found many Gu immortals, among which there were Central Continent Gu immortals and also Snowy Mountain Blessed Lands Peak Lords. Fang Yuan avoided them all. He did not deal with them. Fighting these people would waste his time and would not reap any benefits. This river is too wide. I might have passed xianxia earlier. While I was diving, I might be in front of him. This is totally possible. But Feng Yuan did not give up. Because xianxia had a higher chance of being in front, he swam with all his strength, moving agilely in the complex water like a fish. The sovereign immortal body gave him incredible eyesight, stamina, and his recovery speed was on par with rank 8 Gu immortals, and most importantly, he had practiced his own incredible swimming ability. All these caused him to surpass many Gu immortals that in contrast. Bai Qintian had to keep searching in the river for the other central continent Gu immortals. He was at the very back that a leopard fox was swimming in the water, charging at Zhao Lianyun. The leopard fox was smaller than regular leopards, but it could swim. Thus, even inside reverse flow river, it survived. Go away. Mu Linglan slapped as he killed the leopard fox which came. His other arm was grabbing onto Zhao Lianyun. Zhao Lianyun was a false immortal created with a phantom aperture. She had low foundation and barely any Dao marks. Without Gu worms, she was as weak as a mortal. Thankfully, while she was inside reverse flow river, the rank 7 water path Gu immortal Mu Linglan was around her. With Mu Linglan defending her, Zhao Lianyun managed to survive until now. Mu Linglan was covered in water path Dao marks. He could actually breathe freely in water. He could also swim well. Along the way, he protected Zhao Lianyun and resolved crises, while swimming ahead and bringing her along. Quickly look, there is a mound in front. Mu Linglan killed the leopard fox and suddenly said this with shining eyes. There was a mound floating ahead in the river. This mound is made of float soil. No wonder it can float on water and not sink. We will go rest there. Mu Linglan dragged Zhao Lianyun along and climbed onto the floating mound with much difficulty. Zhao Lianyun was extremely tired. She was barely alive. Once she got on shore, she laid down on the mound and stopped moving entirely as she rested. Mu Linglan was extremely tired. He was breathing roughly. Wait, there's someone on the mound. Mu Linglan suddenly stood up with a ruthless expression. Calm down, calm down. A figure had to walk out of the forest on the mound. Mu Linglan saw this person and became stunned. Zhao Lianyun was frozen like a statue, because the one who appeared in front of them was Ma Hongyun. All of the immortals were in terrible conditions, but Ma Hongyun was wearing clean clothes as he chewed on a half-eaten fruit. You are Ma Hongyun? Mu Linglan shouted in surprise. Ma Hongyun took a step back. Are you also here to capture me? Zhao Lianyun tried her best to get up as she stood shakily. She looked at Ma Hongyun. Her throat was moving, but no voice came out. As the price for using Love Gu earlier, she had been using Gu worms to speak, but inside reverse flow river, no Gu worms could be used at this moment. Zhao Lianyun finally saw the lover that she had been thinking of for so long. She was extremely agitated. She took a step forward, but at the next moment, she hesitated. How did she look like now? She was clear in her heart. She was no longer young. She was an elderly woman. Her hair was white. Her face had deep wrinkles, and she was dry like a twig. In this appearance, could Ma Hongyun recognize her? Could she meet her lover in this appearance? Could she bear to let him see her like this? Zhao Lianyun lost all of her courage. She lowered her head. She did not dare to look at Ma Hongyun's eyes. Zhao Lianyun was hesitant, but she suddenly heard Ma Hongyun call out. You are Lady Xiaoyun? Zhao Lianyun's body shook. She raised her head, only to see that Ma Hongyun had thrown away the fruit as he ran towards her. Lady Xiaoyun, Lady Xiaoyun, I miss you so much. Ma Hongyun shouted loudly. Mu Linglan saw this and felt a lot of emotions. He explained, Fairy Lianyun became like this because she rushed here from Central Continent to save you. Lady Xiaoyun. Ma Hongyun grabbed Zhao Lianyun's hands as he stood before her. He was also unable to speak. His words were choked in his throat. At this moment, Zhao Lianyun felt. This was truly immense bliss. All of her sacrifices were worth it. Chapter 1278. Dogtail Life, Extending Ferret. Boom! A loud sound was heard in the fate reversing refinement subformation. Flood Extremity was no longer surprised. After taking a glance, he looked away. During this period, the Gu formation's pillar of light had shrunken by 50%. This Gu formation is quite interesting. Right at this time, a voice entered Flood Extremity's ears. Who is it? Flood Extremity was shocked. His goo immortal aura burst out as he prepared to use his powerful methods. Little one, don't be afraid, and don't make a move. The voice said again. At this moment, Flood Extremity could not move, that he felt like he was in a frozen river. This person was powerful beyond imagination. He was a rank 7 goo immortal, one of Longevity Heaven's 8 extremities, but he could not react before he was suppressed completely. You are the descendant of Master. As long as you do not attack me, I will not eat you. He. The voice said again. Next, Flood Extremity saw a huge, hill-like beast revealing its figure in front of him. This was a 4-legged beast with purple fur. It looked like a ferret. It was covered in shiny purple fur. Its eyes were shining with a purple crystal-like color. The most eye-catching thing was its tail. This was not a ferret tail, but a dog tail. A giant ferret with a dog tail. Flood Extremity was stunned before he thought of an existence. Indeed, at the next moment, South Desolation. Immortal's letter came from an information path goo worm in his immortal aperture. He could not leave now. This giant beast was sent here to help. It would deal with any enemy who dares to obstruct Longevity Heaven. You are the dogtail life extending ferret? Ancestor giant sun steed. Flood Extremity stammered. The giant beast nodded before opening its mouth, speaking. Stop calling me a steed. I have my own name too. I am Mao Lichio. You can call me Grandpa Mao. Mao, Grandpa Mao. At the other end, Black Extremity was also tongue-tied. He was still in great shock. Okay, forget about this goo formation. Let's go to Reverse Flow River and retrieve Ma Hong Yun and that love goo. The dogtail life extending ferret. Mao Lichio slashed with its claws. Intense winds blew. Countless goo worm auras were exposed, forming an immortal killer move. The fate-reversing refinement subformation that Black Extremity had created with much difficulty broke apart, turning into rubble. This? Black Extremity's eyes almost popped out. Stop stammering. Is it very fun to disrupt my sleep? Quickly finish this business. Your Grandpa Mao has to go back to sleep. The giant ferret, Mao Lichio, said this as it breathed out deeply. This breath flew rapidly, tying up Flood Extremity and Black Extremity. The giant ferret jumped, and its huge body flew into the sky. Beside it, Black Extremity and Flood Extremity were pulled along by the special breath, going towards Reverse Flow River. What is going on? The sudden change in Reverse Flow River affected all of the goo immortals in it. After an intense change, the entirety of Reverse Flow River calmed down. The river water became smooth flowing and had small ripples in it. Reverse Flow River went back to normal. Fong Yuan's eyes shone brightly. He felt the pressure intensifying in the river. There was a large amount of junk unable to move on their own. They were washed down by Reverse Flow River. Seeing this, at once, many goo immortals chose to go downstream and leave Reverse Flow River by getting to the end. This was the only way to get out of Reverse Flow River. The situation is not looking good. Fong Yuan had not found Ing Wu Xie and gang. He continued moving forward to Eye in the Sky. Bai Chun Tian and the other Central Continent goo immortals were looking down at Reverse Flow River. These people were originally trying to swim forward, but Reverse Flow River kept returning to normal as the subformation was destroyed. Bai Chun Tian saw that this was not going well. He could continue, but the other goo immortals could not. They went downstream and left Reverse Flow River, flying towards the sky, after they got out. But this way, they became outsiders. Any methods used on Reverse Flow River would be reflected back at them. Bai Chun Tian soon found Fong Yuan, who was inside Reverse Flow River. Our fight can be disregarded, as long as you hand over affection immortal goo. Bai Chun Tian spoke to Fong Yuan. This is the rank 7 goo immortal who could fight evenly with Lord Bai Chun Tian? How did he cultivate? The other Central Continent goo immortals looked at Fong Yuan with shock and curiosity. Fong Yuan laughed coldly. He ignored Bai Chun Tian. One of the Central Continent goo immortals flew into a rage. Such audacity. You dare to disrespect Lord Bai Chun Tian. Bai Chun Tian snorted coldly. You think I can do nothing to you if you hide inside the river? Before I get washed away, you should worry about yourselves. This is not Central Continent. Fong Yuan replied fearlessly. Bai Chun Tian's key concern was pointed out. His face turned cold as he ignored Fong Yuan. He started to move in the upstream direction. Fang Yuan was a small matter. What was important was Zhao Lianyun and Ma Hongyun. Because the dogtail life extending ferret destroyed the subformation, the complex situation at the surface of the river became easily observable now. The junk was all swept away. Only some Gu immortals were left in the river. Muling Lan, Zhao Lianyun, and Ma Hongyun were at the front. The second group were Old Ancestor Shui Hu, Purple Mountain True Monarch, and Lady Wan Shou. The third group was rank 8 Gu Immortal Wei Ling Yang, as well as some other Central Continent Gu Immortals. The fourth group was Ing Wu Xie and Gang, as well as some Snowy Mountain Peak Lords, and the fifth group was Fang Yuan alone. When he was swept into Reverse Flow River, he was too far from Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. Thus, he had fallen to the back of the river. Even though he tried to swim upstream, the others were also working hard. Honestly speaking, the situation was quite interesting. Quick, swim forward. Mu Linglan looked at Old Ancestor Shui Hu and Purple Mountain True Monarch who were close behind. He spoke anxiously. The floating mound earlier was already swept away. Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun had to swim forward to avoid getting captured by Old Ancestor Shui Hu. The second group of Old Ancestor Shui Hu and Purple Mountain True Monarch were chasing after Ma Hongyun to capture him. The third group, including Wei Lingyang, also did not want to give up. As long as they stalled Old Ancestor Shui Hu and Purple Mountain True Monarch, Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun would have the chance to go downstream and the crisis would be resolved. Ing Wu Xie and the Snowy Mountain Demonic Path Gu Immortals also had the same idea as Wei Lingyang. They were at the back, but there was still hope. Quickly look, to the back. He Lulan suddenly alerted. Ing Wu Xie turned back and looked, his heart jumped. He actually chased us to this place. This river was calm now. There was no junk left. Everyone's field of vision was clear. Thus Ing Wu Xie easily saw Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan still did not know about Purple Mountain True Monarch. Even though he could see Old Ancestor Shui Hu at this position, Purple Mountain True Monarch was a mini-man. He was the size of a thumb and was sitting on Old Ancestor Shui Hu's shoulder. It was hard to see him clearly. Fang Yuan had no idea what happened in Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. Even though he met Bai Chen Tian, he had only understood that a battle of rank 8s happened here. As for who had the advantage, would Bai Chen Tian tell him? Thus, Fang Yuan had always thought that killing Ing Wu Xie and Gang would resolve his crisis regarding Shadow Sect. Therefore, after seeing Ing Wu Xie, his eyes shone as he swam even more quickly towards Ing Wu Xie. He is our enemy? A Snowy Mountain Peak Lord sneered at Fang Yuan. Let's work together and kill him. Outside, the situation is complex with countless Gu immortal methods available. But here, he is all alone. He is just one person. Once he said that, the Gu immortals were ready to attack. Ing Wu Xie was moved too. If they could kill Fang Yuan now and obtain his sovereign immortal body, it would be a great opportunity. However, the sovereign immortal body is not easy to deal with. I should meet up with Lord Purple first. Our main body is still in the dream realm after all. Ing Wu Xie thought about it and decided to play safe. Come with us, we will meet up with Ancestor Shui Hu. He is not important. Our biggest enemy is Central Continent. Ing Wu Xie did not expose Fang Yuan's foundation. He successfully diverted the attention of the Snowy Mountain Gu Immortals. That's right, let's meet with Old Ancestor. Snowy Mountain's Peak Lords could not go downstream now, because a rank 8 Central Continent Gu Immortal was in the sky. Once they left Reverse Flow River, they would need to face off against a rank 8 Gu Immortal. They had to stay in Reverse Flow River for now. But soon, they realized that it was not easy to stay in Reverse Flow River in this special environment. If they could not move forward, the river would push them backwards. In the past, Renzu had failed in Reverse Flow River. He had failed at the final step before success. Nobody thought that they could achieve what Renzu did. But in this situation, every wave of Gu Immortals had their own reasons to remain in Reverse Flow River. Ma Hongyun, you cannot escape. Old Ancestor Shui Hu had a cold gaze as Lady Wan Shou smiled continuously. Quick, quick. They are catching up. Mu Ling Lan and Ma Hongyun dragged Zhao Lianyun along from either side. Fairy Lianyun, hang on. We are going to reach soon. Wei Lingyang shouted. Ing Wu Xie was behind them, waiting to strike. He felt a headache regarding Fang Yuan at the back. He needed to move forward more quickly, to fight for more time later. Ing Wu Xie. Fang Yuan was shortening his distance with xianxia. Soon, the first person to be unable to persevere appeared. It was one of Snowy Mountain's peak lords. He had used up all his stamina. He floated backwards with a pale expression. Fang Yuan avoided him. Now was not the time for that. If he stopped for a moment, he would be pushed backwards as well. Even if he killed the enemy, his progress would be greatly affected. Be careful. In the sky, Bai Chun Tian shouted. I finally caught up. You little rats. Old ancestor Shui, who was already right behind Zhao Linyun's group. Zhao Linyun knew that she had no strength left. If this continued, she would only burden Ma Hongyun. She gave Ma Hongyun one last affectionate look. She suddenly mustered her strength and broke free from his grasp, swimming towards old ancestor Shui, who instead. Chapter 1279. Fervently approaching death. Mu Linglan. Behind old ancestor Shui, who, Wei Lingyang shouted angrily. Mu Linglan was already resolved. He gritted his teeth. Moving even more quickly than Zhao Linyun, he pushed the weak Zhao Linyun into Ma Hongyun's arms. You have to live well. Saying this, he turned around and grabbed old ancestor Shui Hu's waist. Old ancestor Shui Hu struggled intensely, but he still stopped moving forward and was pushed away by the river. The danger for Ma Hongyun and Zhao Linyun was averted. Quickly go. Ma Hongyun held on to Zhao Linyun as his heart beat rapidly. Meddlesome fool. Old ancestor Shui, who hated Mu Linglan to the core, he kicked Mu Linglan's chest several times in the water. His Dao marks far surpassed Mu Linglan's. Mu Linglan was rank 7. How could he possibly match him? Soon, his bones were broken. He was spitting out blood, dyeing the water red. More than 10 breaths of time later, Mu Linglan could not take it anymore. He stopped breathing as he lost his life. Seeing that their companion had died like this, the Central Continent Gu immortals were all anguished. Mu Linglan, Central Continent will remember your sacrifice. Heavenly Court will remember it. Wei Lingyang called out, charging at old ancestor Shui Hu. Old ancestor Shui Hu was stalled by Mu Linglan. He had fallen behind to the third group. He was immediately attacked by the furious and upset Central Continent Gu immortals. Shui Hu. Lady Wan Shou was worried about her husband. She quickly went to help him. Both sides fought for a while. They were pushed backwards and quickly encountered Wu Xie and the others, who were the fourth group. As a result, a large number of Gu immortals were fighting in this river. It was a chaotic scene. Bai Chun Tian and the rest were watching in shock. Grand Gu immortals had lost their sagely demeanor. They were fighting in the water like brutish mortals. But it was too late for Bai Chun Tian to interfere now. Soon, blood dyed the surroundings as many Gu immortal corpses flowed down the river. Wu Xie. Fang Yuan joined the group. He had finally arrived. Where is our lord? Wu Xie finally found old ancestor Shui Hu amidst the chaos. He asked this loudly. Upstream. Old ancestor Shui Hu answered. It turned out that while old ancestor Shui Hu and Mu Linglan were fighting, Purple Mountain True Monarch had swam upstream to capture Ma Hongyun and Zhao Linyun. Precisely because of this, old ancestor Shui Hu could fight with the Central Continent Gu immortals. This was his plan to obstruct the enemies. Wu Xie got his answer and quickly swam with He Lulan and the rest away from the fighting. As he went towards Purple Mountain True Monarch, Fang Yuan called out, Wu Xie, where are you going? Wu Xie sighed, saying, Tai Bai Yunsheng. All of you leave first. Tai Bai Yunsheng shouted. He charged at Fang Yuan with a resolute expression of someone disregarding death. Fang Yuan was obstructed. Wu Xie, He Lulan, and Bai Ningbing managed to escape. Bam bam bam. Fang Yuan's attacks were powerful. Tai Bai Yunsheng soon had broken bones and fractures, but Tai Bai Yunsheng was resolved. He stalled Fang Yuan and grabbed onto him. He even used his teeth to bite and head to slam. Fang Yuan could not break free for a period of time. In this urgent situation, he exclaimed, Old Bai, do you still remember Imperial Court, Blessed Land? Tai Bai Yunsheng was stunned. He exposed a flaw. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with a ruthless light. His fingers pierced into Tai Bai Yunsheng's eyes without mercy. Tai Bai Yunsheng was heavily injured. Blood was pouring out of his eyes. Fang Yuan used this chance to unleash the finishing blow. As Tai Bai Yunsheng stopped moving entirely, he was dead. Humph. Fang Yuan shrugged off Tai Bai Yunsheng's corpse as he continued to swim. chasing after xianxia. During this period, the groups with old ancestor Shui and Wei Lingyang were engaged in fierce battle. They had finally separated as both sides suffered great losses. Bai Chuntian looked at Reverse Flow River from above. He could see the situation clearly. Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun were still at the lead. Purple Mountain True Monarch was at the second position. Xie and the other two were the third. Fang Yuan was fourth. Old Ancestor Shui and Lady Wanshou were the fifth. Wei Lingyang and the other Central Continent Gu Immortals were sixth. Bai Chuntian was anxious. The Central Continent Immortals were in an extremely disadvantageous position. Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun were in front, but there was no longer anyone protecting them. The second-placed Purple Mountain True Monarch was an enemy, while Xie and Gang were vicious members of Shadow Sect. The fifth-placed Old Ancestor Shui and Lady Wanshou were also out of the question. Without any choice, Bai Chuntian could only approach Fang Yuan. You just need to protect the lives of those two in front. You will obtain the friendship of Central Continent and Heavenly Court. You can request anything. Do you want immortal goo or cultivation resources? Will my great Central Continent not be able to satisfy you? As long as you help to protect Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun. This again. Fang Yuan heard this and sighed internally. He thought of Imperial Court blessed land. Back then, he had to make a choice too. If he chose to save Ma Hongyun, it would have been extremely profitable for him. And now, the situation was quite similar to back then in Imperial Court blessed land. But Fang Yuan remained silent. He only continued swimming. He was bent on eliminating Xie and Gang now. Forget about Ma Hongyun, he could bugger off. But what followed was a long stalemate. The further one traveled up Reverse Flow River, the harder it was to keep going. Stamina and Dao marks were secondary. It was a test of one's will. Lady Xiao Yun, we need to persevere. I believe that there will be a chance. Ma Hongyun continued to speak, encouraging Zhao Lianyun. The river water was icy cold, but inside Ma Hongyun's embrace, Zhao Lianyun felt immeasurable warmth. This warmth was a huge driving force for her. She gritted her teeth and persevered on. Behind them was Purple Mountain True Monarch. Ma Hongyun, Zhao Lianyun. Hee. As long as I catch you, I will be able to restrain Old Ancestor Shui. At that point, I will get him to deal with Southern Border's Super Dream Realm. Purple Mountain True Monarch was planning deeply. Protect Lord Purple. Xie was worried. Dear, wake up. Something happened to Old Ancestor Shui's group. Lady Wanshou had fainted. She was heavily injured in the battle. After enduring and persisting for a while, she fainted. Old Ancestor Shui was flustered. He gritted his teeth and stopped swimming. He carried Lady Wanshou as Reverse Flow River swept them away. Wei Lingyang allowed him to leave. They wanted to have one less competitor. Old Ancestor Shui, who quickly left Reverse Flow River. He used his Gu Immortal methods to stabilize Lady Wanshou's condition. Bai Chuntian was nervous. He could not deal with Old Ancestor Shui. Who alone? The Gu Immortals around him, without any immortal Gu houses, could not interfere in a rank 8 fight. I will kill you first. Old Ancestor Shui who carefully placed the unconscious Lady Wanshou in his immortal aperture. Next, he charged at Bai Chuntian. He was the #1 person in Northern Plains' demonic path. He was a ruthless person. How could he give up this chance to deal with these weakened opponents? It's only death, at worst. Bai Chuntian was resolved to die. He neither evaded nor dodged. But right when the two rank 8s were about to fight, they felt an intensely strong aura. The hill-like dog-tailed purple ferret carried Flood Extremity and Black Extremity as they arrived at the bank of Reverse Flow River. Chapter 1280, Perseverance. Outside Reverse Flow River, Old Ancestor Shui who wanted to kill Bai Chuntian. But at this moment, the dog-tail life extending ferret, Mao Li Chiu, appeared. Why is this ferret here? Doesn't it stay inside its cave all the time? Old Ancestor Shui who was surprised. This ferret had a huge origin. It was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable Steed. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had subdued it in his later years. His motive was clearly to find a lifespan extension method. The dogtail life extending ferret's down marks were very numerous and mystical. As it grew older, the dogtail would shrink as its lifespan decreased. When its lifespan nears its end, the tail would vanish. Thus, Whenever it sensed that its life was ending, it would devour an immemorial desolate beast dog. After consuming it, the dogtail life extending ferret would gain the lifespan of this immemorial desolate beast dog. Its tail would grow out, and it would continue living. Precisely so. Even after Giant Sun Immortal Venerable died, the dogtail life extending ferret still lived until now. This giant ferret was enlightened by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. It gained intelligence and learned to use goo worms, and even immortal killer moves. It was an immemorial desolate beast to begin with. Now that it had wisdom and could use immortal goo and other methods, it had unfathomably deep strength. Even old ancestor Shui, who was wary of it, old ancestor Shui, who had wanted to deal with by Qin Tian, but with the dogtail life extending ferret's appearance, he discarded this plan. To think that Mao Li Chiu would save me. Bai Qin Tian let out a breath of air. He relaxed slightly. He also knew about the dogtail life extending ferret. Immemorial desolate beasts of this level were too famous. It was like Central Continent's Huakong, or that evil dragon Dizong Shang. They were unique existences. Their battle strength was at the peak of rank 8. Old ancestor Shui, who quickly focused his gaze on the two longevity heaven goo immortals accompanying the dogtail life extending ferret. Old ancestor Shui, whose gaze focused on black extremity, he chuckled coldly. As expected, Sun Ming Lu, you are a member of longevity heaven. To think that longevity heaven had targeted me since so long ago. He had already made a guess earlier. Now that he saw black extremity, it was confirmed. Black extremity greeted old ancestor Shui, who respectfully. Old ancestor Shui, who, we meet again. I am one of longevity heaven's 8 extremities. Black extremity, Sun Ming Lu, is simply a name I use when I travel in northern plains. Old ancestor Shui, who chuckled coldly again, but he did not attack. Because black extremity was beside the dogtail life extending ferret, it was not like old ancestor Shui, who feared Mao Li Chiu. But he knew that the crux of this issue was not the three of them. It was the events in Reverse Flow River. With the situation in Reverse Flow River unconfirmed, it was not time to fight. A third party would benefit if he did. After Black Extremity and old ancestor Shui, who exchanged greetings, their gazes became fixed on Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun. Grandpa Mao, the two at the front, are our targets. Black Extremity reminded the dogtail life extending ferret. Bai Qin Tian frowned slightly. Old ancestor Shui, whose cold laughter became even colder. But Mao Li Chiu nonchalantly curled its lips. Its beast face made a very human-like expression. No rush. Wait for them to decide a victor. We are outside Reverse Flow River. We can use goo worms, but we cannot affect the river itself. Any method used on Reverse Flow River will be reflected back upon us. Why would I waste my effort? Reverse Flow River would only lose some water when it reflects an attack. This river is huge. How long would it take to dry out this river? I would not do something so time-consuming and pointless. Saying this, it paused before saying, don't worry. These people can't continue for long. The further they swim, the more it tests their will. They are swimming in Reverse Flow River. Any thoughts of persevering in this river would be reversed by the river. Any sort of determination would waver. They would eventually be washed away by the river. The three rank 8 existences were wary of each other. They did not fight. Outside the river, there was a deadlock. The Gu Immortals thus looked towards Reverse Flow River. Inside the river, M. A Hong Yun and Zhao Lianyun were still at the lead. Purple Mountain True Monarch was second. He was inching closer to them. Ingwu Xie, by Ning Bing, and He Lulan were third. Next was Fong Yuan. The fifth position was originally old ancestor Shui Hu and Lady Wan Shou, but earlier, old ancestor Shui Hu had given up the contest for the sake of his unconscious wife. He went outside the river. Thus, the fifth position went to Heavenly Court's rank 8 rule path Gu Immortal Wei Ling Yang and several Central Continent Gu Immortals. Purple Mountain True Monarch moved with all 4 limbs, flapping his thin wings at times. M.A. and Zhao were already close by. I need to persevere and capture these two. I will be able to control old ancestor Shui Hu and deal with Central Continent. Purple Mountain True Monarch was filled with determination. Reverse Flow River's water continued to assault the will in his mind that he shrugged his head, trying to get rid of his hesitation. 90,000 years ago, heavens will attack. I deduced with all my effort, and found a trace of hope for survival. By sealing myself, I turned into a purple gold rock. But to think that heavens would still harm me, and I would go into a crazy state at times. These last 100,000 years, I woke up many times and experienced great danger. I only escaped from danger and survived with Shadow Sect's help. Right now, my main body refined sovereign immortal aperture, but it was stolen from us. My main body is stuck in the dream realm, being in great danger. The Great Shadow Sect is just a shadow of its past. I cannot fail in this situation. I need to persevere. I need to capture Zhao and Ma. I am about to succeed. Purple Mountain True Monarch's eyes were shining. He was extremely close to the two. Oh no! Purple Mountain True Monarch is about to reach Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun. The Central Continent Gu immortals were shocked. Old Ancestor Shui Hu and Ing Wu Xie had expressions filled with joy. What do we do? Flood Extremity shouted. Nothing. Mao Liqiu rolled its eyes. Unless they come out. Ah. But at this moment, Purple Mountain True Monarch suddenly grabbed his head as he screamed. He struggled intensely as he showed intense pain on his face. What is going on? What happened? The immortals were perplexed. At this very moment, damn it. Ing Wu Xie internally cursed heavens will at the crucial moment. Purple Mountain True Monarch fell into madness. He went downstream with the currents. Thankfully, Ing Wu Xie and gang were following Purple Mountain True Monarch as insurance if he went crazy. He quickly grabbed Purple Mountain True Monarch as the four swam upstream together. Thus, Ma and Zhao escaped from the dangerous situation. They were still in first place. Purple Mountain True Monarch had fallen behind, becoming second place, with Ing Wu Xie and gang. Third was Fang Yuan, and fourth was Wei Lingyang and his Central Continent Gu immortals. Lord Wei Lingyang, it all depends on you now. Bai Chun Tian was overjoyed. The Central Continent Gu immortals also started cheering that it was good news to Central Continent that something happened to Purple Mountain True Monarch, especially those Gu immortals who did not know Fang Yuan. They felt that right now. Only Central Continent's rank 8 Wei Lingyang was left. Even though he was in last place, he could still win. Wei Lingyang was gritting his teeth. The difficulty of swimming was rising, and more importantly, the reverse flow river was affecting his every thought. Any thoughts of persevering and swimming ahead would be obstructed by reverse flow river. Many thoughts were washed away, but there was one thought that was rooted in Wei Lingyang's mind. I need to persevere. I am the only hope left in Central Continent. If we capture Ma Hongyun and save Zhao Lianyun, we will be able to return victorious. I cannot fail. Central Continent's pride, Heavenly Court's honor, they cannot be lost because of me. Wei Lingyang swam ahead stably without any hesitation. The Gu immortals around him also followed. These Gu immortals formed the biggest force in reverse flow river. It was eye-catching. Even the dogtail life extending ferret, Mao Liqiu said, "Oh, it seems that Central Continent has a huge advantage. Humph, Heavenly Court still likes meddling so much. This will not do. Ma Hongyun is a northern plainsman." Bai Chun Tian frowned. He looked at Mao Liqiu and old ancestor Shui whose face was cold as ice. He was worried. Even if Wei Lingyang defeats the competitors and obtains Ma and Zhao, what will happen after he leaves reverse flow river? Bai Chun Tian thought from all angles. He could not find a way to escape. He could only continue watching. Time passed by the seconds and minutes. The situation was still the same in reverse flow river. A and Zhao were first. Ing Wu Xie and gang were second. Fang Yuan was third. And Wei Lingyang and the other Central Continent Gu immortals were fourth. The positions did not change, but their mutual distances had evidently shrunk. Oh? These people have all lasted until now. Strange. Why are there so many outstanding people here? The dogtail life extending ferret, Mao Liqiu, quipped. As expected, the great era is coming. In an era which would create a great number of geniuses and talented individuals would emerge like a tide. Bai Chun Tian's eyes were shining too. He was assessing the Central Continent Gu immortals and memorizing their faces. These people had firm determination. If they grew without any accidents, they surely would be important pillars of each sect. Persevere. The mission of protecting Fairy Lianyun is in my hands. I cannot give up. Bu Zhenzi frowned. Just like refining Gu, no matter how tough it is, or how unpredictable the results. As long as I persevere, I will be rewarded. Yu Yi encouraged himself. Shi he had an angry expression. Lord Mu Lan was sacrificed to protect Fairy Lian Yun. How can I back down? Work harder. Shi for the sake of love and justice, you cannot back down. Fang Yuan was expressionless. He stared ahead at Ing Wuxia. Such a close relationship. That rank 8 mini-mangu immortal who went crazy must be a member of Shadow Sect. I must kill him. I must eliminate them all. Inside Reverse Flow River, it is the best opportunity for me to eliminate these threats once and for all.